I want to talk about two double crochet variations that are a really easy and pretty way to add extra texture and detail to any double crochet project. The first one I want to talk about is the herringbone double crochet. This is a sample I did with Premier DK anti-pilling yarn. You can see how it sort of looks like a double crochet, but it's slightly different because the stitches are slanted. They make a very subtle V pattern going left to right. And the detail is so pretty. It almost looks like it's been knotted or braided in a very methodical way. The other double crochet alternative I'm going to show you today is the alternative double crochet, like that's what it's called. And it creates this really well organized, neat and tidy kind of rib look that is pretty surprising, and it looks beautiful on both sides. Again, it has that slightly knotted texture that is so nice and so easy if you already know how to do double crochet. So to start, we are going to do just some plain old double crochet, just so we can see the contrast really well. So we're going to chain 20 here, so we have a decent sized sample, and I will meet you at the end of the foundation chain. So here's a foundation chain of 20. I'm going to start the first row by chaining 3. We're going to count that as if it's a double crochet. It's obviously not a double crochet, but we'll count it as one just to make it easy to start the first row. Now we're going to do regular double crochets all the way across the first row. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're all pretty familiar, I think, with the standard double crochet. So I'm going to go across this entire row and I will meet you at the end. So that is our row of standard double crochets. It should look pretty familiar if you are an avid user of double crochets. To start the second row, we are going to do a couple of rows of herringbone double crochet. Now, this is just a sample, so it's not a pattern or anything. We're just going to go through how to do the stitch, but I think it's a really easy stitch to work into any pattern that you're already using double crochet in. So I think blankets, scarves, shawls, sweaters. And I think what it does, it creates a really dense stitch, whereas double crochet does tend to be a little bit more lightweight because it has these gaps in the middle of the posts. The herringbone double crochet is a much denser stitch. So we're going to start this row. You could start it with chaining 3 and counting it as a double crochet, but just to keep the edges straight, I'm going to start it with 2 stacked single crochets. So I'm going to do a single crochet and then do another single crochet right on top of it. That just helps keep the edge really straight. Now, to do a herringbone double crochet, we're going to start it as if it's a regular double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, and you're not just pulling through the stitch, but you're also pulling through the first loop in your hook. So you have 2 loops on your hook. Now yarn over, pull through 1 loop, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That is a herringbone double crochet. Let's do it again. Yarn over, insert your hook into your next stitch, yarn over, and pull through the stitch and through the first loop that's already on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So do you see the difference between that and the regular double crochet? With a regular double crochet, when you insert your hook into the stitch, you yarn over and just pull through the stitch, and then you yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. This time, you're yarning over, inserting your hook into the stitch, yarning over, pulling through the stitch and the first loop on your hook, yarning over, pulling through 1 loop, yarning over, pulling through 2 loops. Let's keep going. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch and the first loop that's on your hook, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Let's do a few more together. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch and the first loop on your hook, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch and the first loop on your hook, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch and the first loop that's on your hook. This can be a little tricky if you're using a splittier yarn. Yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Let's keep going. Herringbone double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch and the first loop on your hook, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, we're going to keep going until the end of the row. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch and the first loop on your hook, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, I'll meet you at the end of the row, but keep going and then we're going to take a look at the difference between the herringbone double crochet and the standard double crochet. So this is the end of our first herringbone double crochet row, and you can see it's significantly different than the standard double crochet. So you see how the standard double crochet is straight up and down posts with pretty big gaps in between, and the herringbone double crochet sort of leans to one side. It sort of points left. And the stitch, what I love about the stitch is that it's really dense. There aren't really any gaps in between the stitches. We're going to do another row of herringbone double crochet going the other way just to see the contrast because it does lean a little bit left. When you do more than one row, you get a very subtle V. I mean, it's not super obvious, to be honest, but I think if you do a larger piece, it does become a really nice 2-row repeat. So to start the next row, we're going to turn our work, and you can do a chain 3 to start this row as a placeholder for a double crochet, or I prefer to use a stacked single crochet. So a single crochet and then another single crochet right on top of it, which is the same height as a standard double crochet. And we're going to do this exactly the same as we did the last row. So herringbone double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch and the first loop on your hook, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch and the first loop on your hook, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now we're going to go all the way across and I will meet you at the end of the row. So this is the end of our second herringbone double crochet row. Let's take a closer look. So if you remember, we did 1 row of standard double crochet at the bottom right here. And you can see those posts go up and down vertically, and they're kind of big gaps between the posts. And then the herringbone double crochet is a much denser stitch. It's the top 2 rows here, and it has beautiful knotted braided texture, and each row leans slightly to the left. So you do get a really pretty 2-row repeat that you can use in any pattern you like that uses double crochet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of rows of standard double crochet, and I will meet you back here where we can talk about alternative double crochet. So I've done 2 more rows of regular standard double crochet, and you can see there's a huge difference between standard double crochet and herringbone double crochet. Now we're going to do some alternative double crochet. That's actually what the stitch is called, and it creates this really pretty ribbed pattern in a much more up and down, very kind of grid-like, very neat and tidy stitch. I love a neat and tidy stitch, and I find that these very organized looking stitches that include ribbing, it looks really good when you have a variegated yarn. I like to see some order and some organization in my patterns, and I think that a ribbed stitch and a knotted, very tidy looking stitch is great for that. So to start our alternative crochet row, I'm going to do the same thing that I've done in previous rows, which is to stack 2 single crochets on top of each other just to keep that straight edge. But if you prefer, you can always chain 3 and have that represent your first double crochet. To do the alternative double crochet stitch, we're also going to start very similar to a standard double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3. Let's try that again. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, just like a regular double crochet, yarn over, pull through 1 loop on your hook, yarn over, pull through 3 loops on your hook. So in a standard double crochet, again, you yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And in this one, you yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, and yarn over and pull through 3. Now it's not super obvious how different it looks right now, but let's keep going and it'll become obvious actually after a couple of rows. So yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3. Yarn over, into the stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3. Yarn over, into the stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3. I'm going to keep going until the end of the row and I will meet you there. So that is the end of the first alternative double crochet row. Now, I don't think it's immediately obvious how different it is. I mean, it definitely does look a little bit different than the row of double crochets right below. So these are the standard double crochets. You see they're very standard looking posts, again, with quite big gaps in between. And the alternative double crochet at the top is slightly denser, slightly flatter of a post. So these are the standard ones, and these are the alternative double crochets. But I do think the real difference starts to show up when you do more than 1 row of the alternative double crochets. So we're going to do that, and let's see what it looks like. To start the next row, I'm going to start it very similarly to how I started the previous rows. You can chain 3 to represent a double crochet. I'm going to do 2 stacked single crochets just to keep the edges a bit straighter. Now going into the top of the alternative double crochet, the top is slightly forward or backwards. It's a little bit away from you. So you see how there's the V, the stitch that you usually go into, is not exactly at the top of your work, but it's slightly further back. So it's over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, go into that stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3. Again, yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3. Yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3. Now let's proceed this way all the way to the end of the row, and I will see you there. That is the end of the second row of alternative double crochets, and let's take a look. So here's a close-up look. You can see these are 2 rows of standard double crochet here, and the alternative double crochet is slightly more 3D. It's starting to create that rib effect because the stitch is slightly behind the row. So you get way more texture, a slightly denser stitch, and here's what it looks like on the other side. Do you see? It's a little bit more 3D. It just creates a little bit more of a natural rib without having to really think about it. And while being slightly flatter of a post than the standard double crochet. So those are the 2 easy variations on the double crochet that are so easy to integrate into any double crochet project. Again, it's the herringbone double crochet, which is a denser angled stitch, and the alternative double crochet, which creates this beautiful grid-like rib effect. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.